Hey guys, so welcome back to another live broadcast. I'm Jenna and I'm so excited to be back. I went on a little mini hiatus from being sick, but I'm super glad to be back with you guys and be talking about what's coming up for the holidays. So a lot of fun stuff I'm sure you guys are creating for your customers and getting out there in your shop if you are a brick and mortar store, or out there on your website if you're selling online. This is probably my favorite time of year when it comes to custom apparel. It's super busy. Everybody is gearing up for those holiday sales. We just had Black Friday last week, so it's really, exciting. I don't know. And I think design concepts and things are just really fun and creative around this time of year, and just finding new ways to build profit opportunity around the holidays. So today we're going to be talking about patterns and how those being incorporated into your designs can build more profit opportunity for you, because it takes you from just doing a basic single color stuff to adding full color without actually having to print it. And I feel like our patterns on the website get a little overlooked. We're not really realizing that they're there and available for us to utilize. So this really is going to help you, break away from the norm, from just offering basic single color stuff, and allow you to offer something different, something unique that will build value in your brand. So first thing I'm going to do is show you the website and where you can find our patterns, because I feel like sometimes our website can get a little confusing in where each thing is kind of hidden in their little folders. So right under our heat transfer vinyl CAD Cut Direct tab, there's going to be a heat transfer vinyl tab, and then a patterns link there. You'll select that, and it's going to bring you to the patterns homepage, and you can go to Stahls Creative Studios, and that is exactly where our pattern options are housed. I see some of you guys finally commenting in. Hello, Jeff, TC. Let's personalize it from the UK. Hello, everybody. I see some comments coming in from YouTube. Would love to see those of you that are joining us on Facebook and where you guys are joining from. All right, so back over to the screen, we have our patterns. So gonna maximize this screen for you guys. And the first thing that you're going to see is all these different folders and different types of patterns that we have. So my favorite folder is probably Expressions tab, because it just has a lot of really unique patterns. So I'm going to click in there really quickly just so that you guys can see all of the different patterns that we have to offer and how unique they are and how vibrant and colorful that these patterns are, so that you can easily incorporate them in designs and just make something really cool out of them. So the Expressions tab is my favorite. It just has really of those retail inspired patterns that have the really bright colors and whatnot. So that's my personal favorite, the Expressions tab. But of course, we are talking about the holidays. So we're going to go to holidays and events. That folder is going to have a ton of different patterns. And it will always let you know what is new. So we have new ones added under the Christmas folder, and those are going to generate on the screen, okay? And you just have all these ones to pick from. So what's nice about our patterns, one of my favorite things, because this is pretty game-changing. This one's cute. Let's go ahead and play with this one. So this can actually be edited, and you can select what colors that you want in this pattern. So although we have reef teal, bluegrass green, mint, bright red, Greek pink, and white selected in this pattern, we can also choose from color combinations that we have selected based off of like popularity, just different ones that you can choose from. But if you don't like any of the ones that we have pre-created for you, you can select your own color combination and you can save it. That way, if you have a reorder using this pattern, you don't have to go back in and recreate the pattern and try to remember what colors that you used. So let's say we still want to use some of these colors, but maybe we just want to change the background color. I can select the white and a color chart will pop up of all the available SD colors that I can use within the pattern. And there are so many to choose from. So if I didn't want to do white, maybe I wanted to do, I don't even remember what colors are in there, but let's say I want to do light gray. And then I can just play with it from there. So the bluegrass green gets a little lost on top of the gray. So maybe I want to change that to dark green. The mint's a little lost, so I'll change that to a Bahama blue. That still gets lost, but you get the point. You can go in here and play around with what colors you want in each combination. Now that brings us to a lot of the other patterns that are out there that are really, really popular that you can also choose the colors of. So buffalo plaid, you guys have heard me talk about it. I'm sure you've heard Kelly and Josh talk about it in their lives. Buffalo plaid is an extremely popular pattern, and not just around the holidays. It really just, it's popular pretty much all year round, especially in my area. I'm sure it's similar for your areas as well. But we offer a variety of different buffalo plaids. We offer gingham if you want a smaller check. But just really unique ways to get that buffalo plaid pattern and offer it in a different way. But you get to choose the color. So once again, you still have that option. We'll give you popular color combinations, but if you want to change this, you have the ability to do that. All right. So that is as simple as it gets. It's pretty self-explanatory. Once you're in the platform and you are working with different patterns and you're selecting your colors, it's very simple and you get to save them in your own folder. So let's bring the screen back up. Let's go to home. I can go to my favorites. Let me log in. It'll take me to my favorites and it'll show me all of the patterns that I have saved in here. So these are ones that I always go back to and I'm always reordering. So you can see a lot of cheetah in there, some tie-dye, lots of buffalo plaid. So the ones that I reorder a lot, I can just go into my favorites. That way I don't have to worry about trying to go back and find it. There is also a search bar. So if you do ever remember the name of the pattern, then you can just type that in the search bar and it will populate for you. So we make it pretty simple. Now, let's say we want to place an order for this. So one thing that I love that we do with our patterns generator is that we offer it in 4 different ways. So you get the express print for your matte finishes, which is what we're going to be working with today. But you can also get it in glitter, which is really, really cool, especially around this time of year. And I just feel like we're getting into, you know, our customers are so used to seeing glitter. So it's like, what else can you offer at this point? Pattern glitter is that next level. You're able to get full color glitter and gradient and different patterns and stuff. That's pretty cool. So being able to get patterns in glitter is game changing for a lot of people that are doing custom stuff with patterns. So those are our 2 heat transfer vinyl options. Then we have sign vinyl. So sign vinyl, our pressure sensitive vinyl printed with these patterns, and then also sublimation. So if you guys are doing a lot of hard goods and things that you just want to be able to easily add a pattern to, our sublimation transfers really awesome. I've used them in a couple of different lives and different videos on our Instagram. So be sure to check that out. We printed a sequin pillow with these sublimation transfers and just added a pattern to it, and it turned out really, really cool. So I do see some questions coming in. Hello, Natalie. Dell asked, are they going to release patterns on vinyl that has the feel of ultraweed? So something like that is in the works for a printable material. And as long as that goes well, I don't see why we wouldn't be making the switch. So that's one request we always get, besides just the pattern, just having a printable heat transfer vinyl that feels softer and more like a print on the shirt as opposed to like a patch. So that is something that we are actually working on. So I'm really, really excited about that product. So stay tuned, Dale. Hello, John. Thanks for joining us from North Dallas. And TCS, I ordered patterns before, but wondering if there are different sheet sizes available. So right now we're only offering them, and I'm going to maximize the screen here for you guys again. So we offer them in 1 yard, 5 yard, and 10 yard. As of now, we're not doing sheets, but you can get pretty close to having a smaller sheet with that 1 yard cut. Right, so that's as small as we get there. And then we'll recommend what type of mask that you need. So that you guys don't have to order masks or order a roll of masks every single time you place an order for patterns. What I recommend is if you're gonna use a ton of patterns in our express print, our matte heat transfer vinyl, then definitely order like a larger roll and just keep that on hand. All right, so our medium magic mask, it's 20 inches, gives you a lot to work with. So if you guys find yourself reordering patterns a ton, just keep a large roll in stock there so you don't have to keep reordering mask every single time. So this is the one that pairs with express print. Then we have a high tack product that pairs with the glitter. And then we have a tape mask that pairs with the sign vinyl. And then you don't need anything for the sublimation transfer. So just keep that in mind. There are 3 different mask types, but anytime you select the different pattern type, that mask changes so that you know you're ordering the right thing. All right. So we try to streamline this process for you guys to make this ordering very simple and not confusing for you guys. So it's very easy. It's just finding it and figuring out, you know, what type of pattern that you want. So with that being said, since we have so many patterns to choose from, I like to kind of point out what patterns are really trending around this time of year. So you can never go wrong with the Merry Christmas or the Christmas trees and things like that. But what we're constantly seeing requests for and a lot of really popular designs done in is, of course, buffalo plaid. So I already mentioned that. And the red and black is extremely popular. But we're also seeing it done a lot in white and black and also green and black. And what people are doing are mixing and matching these together to create different really cool and unique designs. And another pattern that these are being mixed with is a leopard pattern. So I'm not sure if you guys have noticed a ton in retail. It's something that always pops out and stands out to me is the cheetah and leopard pattern being incorporated with holiday type patterns. Even during fall, whenever people were doing pumpkins and really unique patterns for fall, leopard was still being incorporated. So right now, this is extremely trendy. So if you guys are looking for those custom or those unique custom graphic tee designs, this is a really easy way to just add these patterns into what you've already created, just to create something different. You don't necessarily have to go and change your artwork or anything. You just have to incorporate the pattern, and it's something new and something different that your customer hasn't seen before. All right, so I already have a design cut out of the Cricut so that we don't have to walk through the cut process. But I did want you guys to see the product in action. So I already weeded out my leopard pattern just to make sure all my cutting was going right. But what I do want to point out is that anytime you're working with patterns, there is a masking step that is incorporated into the process. All right, so we are adding an additional step. So like I said earlier, this is just a really easy way to be able to add full color into your single color designs without having to worry about printing or anything like that. Now, whenever you are cutting your patterns, just a rule of thumb, just because it is a heat transfer vinyl, and we're so used to mirroring our heat transfer vinyl, we want to make sure that we're not mirroring our patterns. So that's one thing about the patterns that's different. You don't have to mirror. So, because it's going to be masked, and then we're going to expose the heat transfer vinyl. Trying to figure out which way this goes. Okay, probably going to have to bring up my artwork at some point. All right, but I am also incorporating ultra weed. So one of the best practices whenever you're working with patterns is being able to incorporate a contrasting color. I think that ultra weed is great for this because it's super easy to work with, and they're around the same thickness. So I just think the two products pair really nice together. Why we say to use a solid contrasting color for the pattern to pair with it is just so that it doesn't get too lost. So sometimes patterns can be a little bit busy, and so that can cause the design to get a little messed up. I don't want to say messed up, but it's hard to read at times. So adding in a solid color to be able to understand kind of like what the design is really helps with that. I dropped my weeder. Okay. All right, so just weeding away the ultra weed. This color is greenery, so I noticed that whenever I was doing some research on some popular designs for Christmas, that they're not going with the standard green. They're using like a lighter green, which I really like. Sometimes I think the Kelly green can be a little much for a design. So greenery is a nice light green that I think is going to pair really well with these other two colors. And then I'm using bright red for my text in ultra weed as well. And so that you guys can see this weed, I'll drop this down. So I'm doing a script text here. You can see I love showing ultra weed away designs like this because it just pulls away in one solid pull. And it's just, I mean, that's appealing to the eye, right? Like it's just nice being able to see heat transfer vinyl weed away so easily like that. Another way people use ultra weed for weeding to make it faster is by using heat. So some people will use their bottom platen while the heat press is on and it's heated up. It just allows the material to release from the carrier a lot faster. And then we also have weeding panels and a weeding table. So if you didn't want to tie up your heat press, if you're weeding a ton of ultra weed, you can just use that tabletop weeding panel or the weeding table. But it really does speed it up. A lot of people don't. You have to like see it to believe it. But it just, the material peels away like butter because the adhesive isn't sticking. from the tacky carrier. All right, so all done there. It can hold some pretty decent detail. Like there's a little bit of distressing in this L because of the type of font that I used. So I just want to point that out. The font that I used did have some distressing in it. So it has like a very hard edge. I didn't want you to think that that is just how the material cut, because the material cuts really, really smooth. Okay, so before we apply our heat transfer vinyl, what we need to do is mask these two patterns together. And whenever I'm piecing these designs together, what I want to do first is, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay out my happy holidays because I want to make sure that I'm lining them up right. So I'm going to lay that out. And then I'm going to lay in what needs to go around it. And while I do that, I'm also going to bring up my design so I know exactly which color goes where. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm looking at. And that's going to help me piece this together. Okay, so happy holidays right here. The green is going to go by the A, Y, and both of the Y's. So the A and both of the Y's. And then what I need to do next is mask my leopard pattern. So I'm going to do that off to the side. And the way, actually, I'm going to show you how to mask this as well. All right, so I'm going to take my mask and I go center. I roll this up in the center and then I work my way out. Okay, that just helps decrease the chance of air bubbles. And then I have my handy dandy squeegee here, and that's just going to help me push those air bubbles out. So again, I just work from the center and then go out to each side. Then when it's time to oh my goodness, this mask is strong. Okay. So whenever I peel this away, it's going to expose the adhesive, and this is what gets transferred onto the shirt. So now I have my green and red. So I'm going to take the leopard and that gets over here. Right, and now all I have left is the red to do. Which, guys, you guys are going to make fun of me. I'm already making fun of myself in my head. I mirrored my pattern. What did I just say earlier? Don't mirror your pattern. All right, so we're going to cut new red buffalo plaid and redo that whole process. Okay, so luckily I have some extra pattern. Sarah, yes, the pattern vinyl is layerable. Right, I don't need this much material. Actually, do I have? No. I thought maybe I had a scrap piece left. Okay, so cut this. What I do with my cutting mat? Here it is. Need to make sure that I cut this to fit. Let's see. It says mirror was off, but now I'm starting to think that, let me check this one more time. So the red, all right, we're gonna check this one more time. Maybe I didn't mirror it. No, it's definitely mirrored. Yeah, okay. This is so confusing because I'm gonna show you my Cricut screen. It says that the mirror is off down here. So I don't know what happened. Maybe I cut the wrong design on the wrong color, who knows? All right, let's go ahead and get this connected without spilling my coffee. So I'm gonna move my laptop and then you guys can see this cut in action. All right, so we got the vinyl cutter over here. Gonna connect the USB. Okay. TC, I hate it when that happens. Honestly, it looks like I cut the green by accident whenever I had the buffalo plaid loaded onto the cutting mat, which is such a silly little mistake. And it makes me want to pull my hair out, but I won't do that since I'm live with you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and finish trimming up the pattern. And this is what happens whenever you're cutting multiple colors and you're not paying attention. All right, let's trim this a little bit more. So yesterday, we did a webinar on the Cricut and the silhouette. And we were talking about the benefits of having a vinyl cutter. This thing is so loud. A vinyl cutter that it doesn't have to use a cutting mat. This would be one of those examples because I'm working with a 20-inch material that I have to trim down. Now, this would save me a ton of time if I was had one of those slicers and I could just sheet my patterns down. But I just had to have some waste here because I had to sheet that down. So if you guys are working with some of the smaller cutters and you have to sheet this down, I'm sure there's a much simpler and more lucrative way to do it, but I just take scissors to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because my cutter is being extremely loud and I don't want you guys to have to listen to that, I'm going to send this to cut and mute for just a few seconds until that's done. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that you guys can see the how long it's going to be until we can unmute. But I just don't want you guys to have to listen to this. It is so loud and obnoxious, and I would feel terrible if you had to listen to it. Okay, so mirror is off. I'm going to share my screen. So mirror is off. We have the right one selected, and my fast mode is on. So I'm going to click the go button, and I'm going to mute myself so you can't hear anything. All right, it is done. And I'm so thankful that there is a mute option because it is painful to listen to. Okay, so let's go ahead and weed our material. Let me get you back over here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is trim this, making sure that I'm not getting into any of the cut lines, okay? Actually, I will say that there are some heat transfer vinyls out there that it is so hard to see the cut line with. But this, if you get the lighting right on it, you can still really see the cut lines pretty easily, which is shocking considering that it's a pattern, but very easy to see those cut lines. I did see a question come in from Fitness by Fernando. This is a Cricut vinyl cutter. So yesterday we did a webinar and we had the Silhouette and Cricut because we were doing a comparison. And we wanted to show the Silhouette, and Kelly Walters had the Cricut or the Silhouette Cameo 4, and we compared that to the Cricut Maker. So it was a really good webinar. It is recorded, so for those of you that would like to check that out, we'll be publishing that within a week or so onto our YouTube channel so that you guys can see that. Now, because I am not layering my patterns, I'm going to use the same masking that I did for the leopard. That way it's an easy application at the heat press. I can just do them together. So I'm going to find out where this goes on top of my other design. So this is where this lays for this. So now I'm going to take my leopard that was pre-masked and pair that on top of this pattern. So let's see. I'm going to go right here. And now I can remove the other two that are there, which is the red and the green. And now I can mask the buffalo plaid to the leopard. And now we can apply those at the same time. Okay, so now we have both of our patterns on the masking. One less step at the heat press. Now I could have just masked those separately with a different mask, but I figured it would just be easier to just use one thing of mask. And then we have our two ultra weed colors. So the first application I'm going to do at the heat press is going to be the buffalo plaid and the leopard because that's the largest part of my design. And I always like to start with the largest piece so that I can lay everything else in fairly easy. And I do not have my second tripod with me. It is at the office, so I'm going to try to show you exactly what's happening at the heat press as closely as possible so that you guys can have the full effect of the application. Okay, so this is my craft paper cover sheet. I am working with a recycled poly and organic cotton t-shirt. So these are really, really popular in retail right now. And you can get them wholesale from Sanmar. The brand is All Made. And I honestly, this is the nicest feeling cotton poly blended fabric that I've ever felt. I highly recommend this brand. It's not overly expensive for their blanks at wholesale price. So definitely check out All Made. They are definitely adding a lot more products to their line. All right, so going to preheat and test my pressure. And now we're going to, what I'm going to do is trim this masking because I'm concerned about what that little transferred piece on there is going to do. Okay. All right, so this should be, actually, I take that back. I'm not going to do the pattern first. I'm going to do the text first because that is going to help me center the rest of my application. And I am working with a V-neck. So what I'm going to do here is go up a little bit higher than I normally would for an application because that V-neck is already dropping. And then I'm just going to make sure that by placing this, I'm not too close to the collar. And I'm not. Okay, that's good. All right, so we're going to do the ultra weight application first. Cover sheet. And that's just a quick tack for like 1 to 2 seconds. And then you can remove that carrier. Ultra weight's a hot peel. All right, so far this is what we have. Happy holidays. I need to move that collar back because that's going to cause some uneven pressure for the next couple applications. Right, now I'm going to take my patterns. Oh, wait, there we go. All right, so my patterns are laid down. Patterns are another tack. So I can tack these. And I love materials that you can tack because it just speeds up the application process so much. Well, I said it can tack, but it didn't tack. Maybe I need to increase my pressure. We're just having a bunch of errors today. That is so weird that my patterns aren't tacking. Never had that happen before. It's turning out really cool so far, though. I'm excited. I think the color combination is really cool. I'm just gonna let this cool. I don't know why it's not tacking, but maybe it just doesn't want to peel hot. I don't know. Yeah, it's peeling now. I'm gonna show you guys that it's peeling, so you guys don't think I'm like hiding something over here. All right, so removing the patterns carrier. Okay, that turned out good so far. And now we will do the last application, which is the ultra weed. And then I'm going to show you how you can get very similar effects like this using our Easyview Designer and using patterns for screen print transfers. This shirt is turning out really cute. All right, so this is the last application. So I'm going to let that ultra weed cure on there for the full recommended time and temp. We're at 300 degrees because that's the pattern setting. And we are going to apply that for a full 12 seconds. It looks so cute. I hope you guys like how this turned out as much as I do. I don't want to be biased just because I did it. All right, so there we go. Looks like I was a little off on the A up there, but overall turned out really nice. Nice matte finish, bright, vibrant colors. All of my products on the shirt are going to last the full 50 wash cycle. And I just think that this is very retail and something that you can easily create from home or at your business that looks like it could be at a store at the mall. So very easy to do with heat transfer vinyl. However, heat transfer vinyl is time consuming. As we can see, we've been on for roughly 45 minutes and we finally created the t-shirt. I did have to recut heat transfer vinyl, but still, if you were going to be producing a ton of these, heat transfer vinyl might not be the route that you want to go because it's just not productive as far as time goes. So a different solution for you guys is screen print transfers. And a lot of you may not know that you can create designs like this in our Easyview Designer through our screen print division, Transfer Express. And you don't have to worry about spending a ton of time in production. All you have to do is heat press them because we send you the design printed onto a release paper, and all you have to do is use your heat press to heat apply it. So for those of you that aren't familiar with our screen print division, Transfer Express, definitely check out our YouTube channel, their YouTube channel, and look at all of the really nice products that they have to offer. Very high quality inks that are being used. And we do have a hybrid transfer that is called Ultra Color Soft, which is combining a full color with a screen print ink. So hence the pattern that we're able to get with that ink. Okay, so lots of colors, lots of photorealism, lots of gradients, different things that you typically couldn't achieve with screen print that you can now because of this hybrid, and it is called Ultra Color Soft. So once again, we are going to share the screen and I'm going to bring up Easyview Designer. So this is the design that I created using Easyview Designer's clip art, okay? So you can see that it's very similar to the one that we just did using heat transfer vinyl, but now I'm able to order multiple sheets of this design and all I will have to do is heat apply it. Okay, so I'm just going to walk you through the steps fairly quickly here and show you exactly how this was created. So all I did was go to add clip art and I typed in the word paint and I just looked for a brush stroke that I liked and I chose this one, X19B-700. From there, I was able to add a pattern. So there is an apply pattern option down here, and that allows me to go through all of the different patterns that we have and apply it to that piece of clip art. So I selected this pattern down here. Well, I'm losing it. Here it is. Oh, wait. No, that's not it. I probably already passed it up, but oh, there it is, Leopard Pattern. That's the Leopard Pattern that I use to apply to these 3 brush strokes. But I could also use that same painted leopard pattern that I had in my heat transfer vinyl if I wanted to. So let's say I wanted to use this, for example, and I forgot to select. So let me go back and hit apply pattern, and painted leopard could easily go in there instead. All right, so you have those different options. You have those same pattern options that we have in our heat transfer vinyl within Easyview Designer. And the beauty of this is that you're not paying per color. So it doesn't matter how many colors are in this design because we're paying essentially for digital art here, not screen print ink, okay? So then from there, I just literally duplicated all of those brush strokes and changed the colors and created the little variants that I wanted to create here. And then I just dropped text and typed in happy holidays. So there is a lot of different text and fonts that you can choose from. So it's all over here on this left-hand side. And I went with Bambi, but there are a lot of, I mean, hundreds, if not thousands. There might be thousands of different fonts that you can choose from. And there's really trendy ones in there that you can use. There's old school ones. There's a lot to choose from. So honestly, I could spend hours in Easyview Designer creating different stuff in here. But the beauty of this is now all that time that I spent cutting, weeding, and masking all of those colors of my heat transfer vinyl, I have the ability to just create the design exactly how I want it to look and get it printed. And then all I'd have to do is heat press it. All right. So again, that product is called Ultra Color Soft. And it's really cool because you're only paying per sheet. You're not paying per design. So I have a full front design here, 8.5 by 7. And I can gang up as many pieces of artwork as I want on this sheet. So we're working with an 11.5 by 18 sheet of designs that I could have on here, and I'm only paying per sheet, not design. So you'll notice I'm duplicating my artwork here and my price is not changing. Okay, so I want 100 of these sheets because I have a lot of orders of this design to fulfill. So it doesn't make sense for me to do heat transfer vinyl. I need something that's going to be quick for me, and this is that solution. Right, so we're paying $4.50 for the sheet. I'm getting 2 designs on there, so each design is costing me $2.25. Right, so a really cool way to get in here, create designs, especially if you're anything like me and you're not a graphic artist, so you need clip art and templates and different things to utilize, and then also still have the ability to get those full color designs like we did with our heat transfer vinyl, but now it's a screen print transfer. And I will say that the Ultra Color Soft is amazing. The feel of it. So of course it's amazing. It's super easy to work with. It's very user friendly, but the feel of it is what's game changing, because as Dale asked earlier, he wanted a softer feeling print. This is that digital product that gives you full color, but feels like an ink and a really nice print. So if you haven't had a chance to work with Ultra Color Soft and you don't necessarily want to place an order for it, there are samples. Okay, so make sure you go on Transfer Express. You can get the marketing kit if you want that has samples of all of our products, or you can just get some samples of just Ultra Color Soft if you haven't worked with that yet. It is a game-changing product and it works perfect for designs like this. And I think it's really cool that all of those patterns that we have, you can apply to your designs within Easyview Designer too. Okay, so questions. Let's see. Paul asked, could we create that design and print on a Roland digital printer? Okay, so if you're within Easyview Designer and you create a design in there, you cannot export the artwork from there and print it or fulfill it in-house, for example. That's when you would want to use Cad Works Live. So Cad Works Live is where I created this is not the same Cad Works Live that I was using earlier. Hold on one second. Here it is. Okay, so this is where I would be able to do that. So if I'm creating this artwork and I want to print this out on my Roland, I have the ability to, if I wanted to add a pattern to these, I can do that by just going to fill and selecting texture and uploading the pattern in there. So I've done that before and printed it out on an eco-solvent printer and it's worked just fine. Okay, so Let's see if I missed any other questions. Thank you for saying this. It makes me feel less ridiculous that I did this. All right. So Sarah, thank you. I need to put a black outline around my pattern vinyl words and have never used the pattern vinyl except for after your booth at ISS Long Beach. That is really cool that you remember coming to our booth at ISS Long Beach, because we haven't been there in forever. And I'm glad that you were able to remember our patterns from that. That's cool. But yeah, super, it makes the patterns really stand out whenever you're using contrast colors like that. Okay. Thank you, Natalie. I'm excited about it too. I'm glad that somebody said something, because I was like, am I the only one that likes how this turned out? Yeah, I think it's very retail. All right. Well, I have some announcements before we head out for the day. We are going to test out going live once a week, but I want your feedback. Do you guys like that we go live every Tuesday, Thursday at 12:30? Or is it going to be more beneficial to you to just choose one day out of the week to attend our lives and be fed more content and education, if you and still be able to allot the rest of your time for doing your jobs, you know? So let us know. We do want the feedback so that we are coming to you guys as frequently as you need, as far as learning and education and content goes, and just basic announcements. So would love to get your feedback on there. Do you like the Tuesday, Thursday lives, or do you think once a week is going to work best? If we go once a week, we would like to test out Thursdays at 12:30. So, and that's Eastern Standard Time. Now, of course, everything is always recorded and always stays on our Facebook feed. So you guys can always catch it if you happen to miss it. And we're still pushing content to our YouTube channel 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then we're constantly still doing webinars. So just keep all that in mind. Facebook is not the only source of where our educational content is. So there are other things that you can attend and be able to receive for free. Nothing that we ever really charge for. Another announcement that I want to make is if you haven't signed up for our virtual event and got your kits so that you guys can heat press along with us, make sure you do that. We will share the link for you guys so that you know where to register. It is going to be really exciting. There are so many classes and such great content planned. I've been working with the team on that for what we're going to be presenting for you guys. So super excited for that event. So I would love to see some familiar faces there. So definitely check that out. And then, of course, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, be sure to hop over there. Click that little notification bell so that you get notified whenever we add new videos. And then, of course, follow our Instagram and TikTok. If you can even access TikTok anymore, I have no idea. All right, so thank you guys so much for attending today. I will definitely see you guys next week. Appreciate some of the feedback that we're getting here as far as frequency goes, but we will definitely see you next week regardless. All right, see you guys. Have a good one.